Me too.
It's fine. I don't know.
That's you know, to do your marketing. So I'm sure you'll see a lot of me, unfortunately. Okay, so have you gotten into command at all?
Yeah, it's from my contact.
Nice, that's awesome.
Because it's under the.
Right.
Like, because,
And that's good so that, I mean, it'll have to be on the team database, A, for you to create opportunities, but B, so that,
those contacts mine as well.
no, you don't need to. So just having it on the team will allow them to get all the emails that we send out on behalf of your team. It'll come from you as well. You saw that? Okay, cool. So yeah, really just having them on because the problem is if you have, I mean, you can have them on your personal side. It's just like a duplicate, like they don't talk to each other. So it kind of makes it confusing having two separate contact records. So usually agents only have it in one. But to kind of show you guys, so first of all, let me just show you where the notes are, or kind of like the command overview. If you're looking to do anything in command. So kwbresources.com, right? That's that internal site for agents. So this is where all your resources are, like the office calendar, if you want to see what's coming up next. If you want that office calendar on your phone, it can be added to your phone. You can just shoot us an email and we can help with that. Yeah, right. Our email up here so you guys can jot it down. It's just contact@juleahdesigns.com. There's really two email addresses you'll want to jot down. So we can help by meeting with you in person, and we can help you with all of your KW technology, like in person. You can meet with us once a week for free. And then Scott Leroy Marketing is the other tech company that helps out. And they're essentially available for answered questions within 5 minutes or so. So I'll tell you about them next. So our email, anything I say in class that you want, feel free to email me about. And then Scott's email is support@scottleroymarketing.com. And I'll tell you how that company can help you too. But essentially, if you have a question and you email them, they will answer in about 5 to 10 minutes. So they'll give you a super fast response and usually do it for you. So I would write down both of those emails and I'll tell you more about it. So on KWB resources, I'm going to just point you to where the notes are for today's class and really any class that we teach. We'll be under tech resources. So kwbresources.com and then tech resources at the top if you hover over that and click on the Tech Tuesday calendar. So the second option down. That just has a link to all of our notes. So you can grab that and it'll show you, of course, the calendar coming up. So the notes for today's class, it'll be the very top one, the command overview notes. You just need to scroll down past the calendar. So again, where this is under tech resources and then Tech Tuesday calendar. If you scroll down, that's where you can grab those command overview notes. And so what this will give you is essentially a overview what I'm saying, but then also expand on anything that I show you today. So for example, like if you want to tell you what it can do with Facebook and you want to go ahead and set up a Facebook business account, right? We have those steps here. Creating an email signature, and I'll walk you through these a little better, right? But this will be quick tip videos on how to do each one of these items. So you have access to that. So starting with that top one here, I just want to point out that you do have a lot of free resources with the technology. So if you want to see all the list of free things that you can get from Scott Lorry Marketing, that top option there will give you a whole list of all the free things that Scott Lorry Marketing can do. Hey, how are you? Good. How are you, Gerard? So again, if I lost anyone, just let me know. But this password will be 350 to get onto Scott Leroy Marketing's website. And this just shows you all the free things that they can do for you. So it'll be things like creating a QR code, if you need an open house sign-in page, if you need to have your headshot updated, your bio, right? They're able to do all of that for you. So they're like your free tech leverage. They never charge you. Yeah, so 350 is our market center number. So each KW has a market center number and ours is 350. So for the Scott Lorry Marketing site, you just put in the 350 and it'll give you access to everything that you have. Yeah, and you know, this is scottlorrymarketing.com/support, but this is also on those notes here. That'll be that very top link. And again, their email, you don't even have to go to this link. You can just straight up email them and ask, hey, I need help with XYZ, or hey, how do I create an email signature in Command? And they'll send you a quick video or let you know that they can help do it for you. Okay. That's always going to be your free tech help and pretty immediate as well. You'll see they have a bunch of training videos. So if you want training on the go, like at midnight, you can't sleep and you want to watch tech training tips, this is kind of your sheet for that. So it'll give you like it by topic here. And I'll reflect back to these notes here, but we're going to dive into Command so you can see it live. Oh, no, this is the notes on KWB resources. So Gerard, it's on, yeah, on kwbresources.com, right? I went to under tech resources, the Tech Tuesday calendar is where I have all the notes for today's class. That would be a good idea to add to the calendar though, Gerard. I'll start doing that. So that's where they are right now, but moving forward, I'll try to add it to the calendar. I like that. So that'll allow you to click it and it gives you just this Google sheet. And I do keep this updated. So anytime there's new videos, you know, I'll update that for you, updates for you. Are you good on how I got there, Gerard? Do you want to see that? Oh, I know it. Yeah. I'll start adding it to the calendar, like the office calendar. I love that idea, Gerard. Okay. Oh, cool. Nice. Okay. Right. Right. Yeah, I'll try to merge the two so there's a link. But yeah, and they'll show you the upcoming Tech Tuesday calendar too if you want to peep at what those topics are. So, okay, let's jump into Command and do this all in a live environment. So I'm going to pull up a new tab and go to agent.kw.com. So to log into Command, again, that's agent.kw.com. that will be something that you'll go to daily. So I would recommend bookmarking that. Depending on what browser you're using, usually like there's a star on the very far right URL bar, and you can go ahead and bookmark that. And we can go ahead and log into Command. Yeah, you won't be able to access this now, unfortunately. All right, so when you log into KW Command, the first thing that you're going to see is your dashboard here, okay? So this dashboard, you'll see that my leads are at the top. That's the number one thing I want you guys to change about your dashboard. Now, there's some other things that is very valuable here, especially at the top. You'll see, any leads that have never been contacted, recently active leads, birthdays and anniversaries coming up in the next 30 days. So you can go ahead and prep a handwritten card if you'd like to, right? So to get your recent leads up at top here to start, if you click on Customize on the top right, okay, we're going to pull our leads to the top. So Customize on the top right, and then we can go ahead and pull our recent leads. Typically, they're at the very bottom, okay, and they can only stay in the column they're in, but you can pull those up to the top so you see your recent leads every time that you log into Command. So, right, I was able to reorder that by just clicking and dragging my mouse, right? You click on the dots in a square or rectangle rather, you can move those around. I would recommend tasks at the top and recent leads. Okay, these tasks will come from your smart plans that you set up, or if you have opportunity tasks, they'll populate from there. And you can click save on the bottom, or apply rather. And yeah, Caleb, for you, you have two different profiles, one for the team and one for your personal. So let's go ahead and check on the backend settings of our account before we go any further here. So to check on your settings, if you can click on your name on the top right of Command, and then settings from that dropdown. So click your name on the top right, and then settings from that dropdown will take you on over to the apps that are linked up to KW Command. So I kind of think of this as like a smartphone, right? New iPhone out of the box, right? It can do a lot on its own. However, you can download more apps and connect more apps to your phone to increase the functionality. Same concept here. So your apps will probably be in a different order than mine, and it'll show your connected apps first. Right, but I would recommend scrolling down, and things that you might not have linked up that I would encourage are things like Facebook. Right, so Facebook, and you will have to scroll down if you're not connected to that. Facebook will allow you to post Facebook ads through Command and also schedule posts in advance. So if you wanted to schedule out all your social media for the next month, you could do that as long as your Facebook account is linked to Command. And you do have to have a business account for that matter.
Can't you like make your
Yeah, so Instagram, you can turn your existing personal Instagram into a business account. But for Facebook, it's separate. They have a personal page, and then they want you to get a separate business page. And, as far as my recommendations on which one you should have, if you should have both, I would recommend having both. The reason being, if someone looks you up on Google, the power of Facebook, your Facebook page is always going to be at the top. Your business Facebook page will always come up at the top of Google. Okay, so it promotes you as not being just a person who does real estate. No, you're a real estate professional that's in the business. It's kind of like if you were going to Google a business, right? You'd typically be able to see that business on Facebook, but also look up the CEO separate on their personal page, right? Now, with that being said, you will always get more engagement on your personal page. So you can expect that, right? However, your business page is there to brand you as a credible professional, real estate professional in the industry, right? If anyone looks you up to work with you, they're going to look up your social media and your website to make sure you're credible, right? So they just want to see active posting on your business page. And that's what Command allows you to do. Schedule out posts for the entire month, for example. So any other questions on Facebook or social media for that matter?
My Facebook doesn't come up. Realtor.com, LinkedIn, and then the Keller Williams website.
For
When I
where?
Google this.
Are you using the Facebook business page? Do you use just like your personal Facebook page, right?
My business page.
Business page? Okay, we can look at that. Are you posting on it? Is it active? Like,
Yeah, I mean, something does about that now.
Okay, yeah, we can always look at it and how to get it up higher
I'm
too.
not having a big Tuesday.
Oh, you're always great at Tech Tuesday, Gerard. It's your specialty, right? So, I would recommend linking up your Facebook here, right? And if you can link up Instagram as well, it does need to be an Instagram business account. Now, I will point out on the left-hand side, so I'm going to tell you the steps to get to your command marketing profile so that if you ever get a new headshot or a new bio, all of your contact information pulls from one spot in command. So where you can go to access that, okay, these are the 4 steps I would recommend jotting down. You click your headshot on the top right, or your name on the top right. That's step 1. Step 2 is settings. That's where we are now. And I'll say this again, but step 3 is in connect settings on the left-hand side. And step 4 is that marketing profile. And I will say that again in one sec here. But what this section does is it pulls any information here on your mobile app, on any landing pages you create, the kw.com website, your website, right? Any emails you send, all pulls that information from here. So if you don't have your headshot in here, or your contact information isn't correct, right? Of course, that's important to look through. However, you can send like an updated headshot to Scott Lowry Marketing at any time. So things Scott Lowry Marketing is great at helping out. If you write a new bio or get a new headshot, send it to support@scottlowrymarketing.com and they'll update it everywhere for you. Okay. Yeah, your headshot at the top.
So you can't do a remove and upload it.
You can't remove it. Or yeah, you can like remove it. You can. It just has to be a certain size. So it has to be 360 by 360, the headshot. So if you want Scott to he knows how to like crop it. So you can absolutely do anything Scott Lowry Marketing can do, right? You can do it yourself. They just have like, for example, the headshot doesn't update automatically on the About Me page of the website. So they go in and update that separately. So there's just kind of like a couple extra spots that they update it for you. So my recommendation is if you get a new headshot, send it to them just to be sure. You get a new phone number, send it to them to be sure it's updated everywhere. And they update it everywhere within the KW technology. A bio is a really big one too. If you have not written a bio about yourself, I do know that that's a difficult task to do. However, hugely important for search engines and for people to draw a connection with you online. Makes you more than just a computer screen. So if you do want bio tips, shoot me an email. I'll send those to you. Scott Lowry Marketing has those. However, creating like a 3-paragraph bio, like you can see, not too long there. If you have any questions on the bio, do you have your bio? Okay, do you have a bio? Okay. Like revamp it. That's okay. No, not necessarily. However, have you guys used Chat GPT? It's so cool. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can go in. This is kind of, yeah, like if you write a property description for a home in Matthews for 2 beds, 2 baths, at this price, it'll say, come back, welcome home to your new immaculate home in Matthews, North Carolina with, gleaming hardwoods and built-in, upgrades out, see, that's what I was going to recommend. Even like if you have some bullet points of yourself, right? And you go in Chat GPT and say, hey, rewrite this bio for me, it'll spit it back out. At least usually I have to go through and like edit some stuff, right? But a lot of the lines you can really just use, right? It saves out your time of having to type all of that out.
So is there a monthly cost to it?
Yeah, you just go to Chat GPT. Okay, here, let's do it, guys. Yeah, so it's Chat GPT. And you have to have an account, which usually just makes it from your Google account. Does this look like the right one? Okay, great. So let's see. Log in. I'll show you. It's really cool because it takes out your need to write property descriptions or your bio, which is painful, right? Yeah, like act as a real estate professional and write a social media caption for the top home maintenance tips for July. And it gives you a perfect list with hashtags and emojis and everything. Yeah, I'm gonna show you. Well, depending on what you're trying to do, then I would use that for the social media caption without having to think of anything, right? Or I would use it, to send an email, like, and then let's say I had a new listing, make a social media post for this listing and put the description in, and then you can write, okay, great, now make it into an email for my client, and it'll rewrite the same thing, but it'll say, dear client name, and I'll rewrite it in that format so you can repurpose your content across, multiple things by asking it to kind of change it up for you. And I'll show you. This is really cool. Yeah, no, you'd have to do that part yourself. So it's really just, there's a lot AI can do, of course. Now, what I know of it, it's really just rewriting your verbiage, or like if you take an article, let's say, like from Axios or Keeping Current Matters, and you copy it, instead of having to rewrite it yourself, you can just ask it to paraphrase this for you. So you just rewrote an entire article that you can now email to your database about, a new greenway that just opened up in Charlotte, right? Or about the new mortgage rates, whatever it is.
So it's not like it's figurative or anything like that. You just rewrite it.
Mm-hmm. So like, okay, so this is ChatGPT. You just sign in with your Gmail account. And if I were to say, act as a real estate professional. So I've heard it's really important how you frame it. So telling it how to act. So act as a real estate professional and write a property description.
Yeah, real and real.
Oh, no, act as not a really real estate agent. Thanks. Act as a real estate professional for a home in Matthews, North Carolina. Let's say. And like, depending on, like, it looks like it's writing it as a kind of like a social caption right here. Right. So like, that's why what I mean by saying like it's important how you frame it. So I asked it incorrect, like if I wanted to write more of a property description, look, you can absolutely get it to, or you can just take out these emojis, or, then I could be like, okay, rewrite that in 1,000 characters, because that's the limit in the MLS, right? Then it would rewrite that exact same thing in 1,000 characters for the MLS.
If you be more specific, like put it.
Good question. I don't know. Let's see. I like that. Do you have an idea for an address? Yeah, I'll look one up. Oh yeah, for KWB. Let's see if that would be so cool if you could put in the previous. Oh, this is your website, which I will show you. We're going a little out of order with this excitement of ChatGPT. I'm just going to pull an address here to see if if it can make the property description from just the address. So, me neither. That's a brilliant idea, though.
Well, if I thought of it, somebody else thought of it. Thought of something.
Right. Have you seen how it can make like movies as well? Like if you just type in what you want, it can make animated like cartoons of what you're trying to say, which is really crazy. And write a property description for. Okay. All right, moment of truth.
All right. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's probably just a little more vague. I don't know. The listing. Let's see.
I would like to do something.
What'd you say?
Well, we don't do-
That's off the market? Yeah, because it searches for everything on the internet to draw all this, right? Cool, but like, that's interesting. That is interesting. Does this say that? Huh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's to cover their, right, exactly. Yeah, and like, if you want to tell me the top home maintenance tips for July. And then it just gives you it and you could send that out to your database, you know. And of course, if you ask it to write it as a social caption, it'll write it with emojis and hashtags so that you can just copy and paste that into your social media. So some cool features there. I would definitely recommend that, you know, as far as, yeah, your content creation. I know that was a little bit of a sidestep there. Any questions on it? Are you gonna try to use it? What are you gonna try to use it for? Love it.
Well, even my personal thing, really.
Yeah, right,
I mean, the maintenance, that's awesome.
right, right.
Care,
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah, that's awesome.
And then you can do that for each month, right? There you go. Now you have a social post for each month, right? Yeah, exactly. You can even ask it this to create a social media calendar. Create a social media calendar for a real estate agent. For a real estate. So it's recommending 3 days a week. And then what to post each day. Pretty cool, right? Right. Give me all the leads in Charlotte. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. So let me know if you use it and find any other creative ways to use it in your business. I'm here for it. All right, guys. So let's go back to where we were because that brought us there from the bio. So if you were following along, I'm in the KW tab. So yeah, moral of that story is even if you have some bullet points of your bio, throw it in there. You know, ask it to rewrite it, and it, you know, phrases it really wonderfully. It's hard to write about yourself. Other than that, really just scroll down, make sure all of this contact information is correct. And I just want you to know as well, this is where you can put in your social media links. So if you want your social media to show up on your mobile app, your emails, your website, this is the place to do it. Yeah, it shows in all of them. Mm-hmm.
So you just copy, paste your business page.
Yeah. And it wants the entire thing, as you can see, like from the beginning of the URL. So yeah, you just copy and paste it in there. All right, guys. So now let's go ahead and look at your contact database. I'm going to tell you how leads come in, how you work with your contacts, and we'll take a look at how you can contact them, just so you kind of have an idea of what we're going through in class. And then we'll go through what your live website looks like and your mobile apps as well. So first, if you can join me, please, to the contact section of command. So that's the second icon down on the left-hand side. So the contacts icon, right? And as you're learning command, clicking the KW logo on the top left is helpful because it'll allow you to kind of see what each one of those icons does. So your contact database, right, is hugely important to get as many contacts as you can in here, right? And you can import all those from your phone. You have your contacts in. We talked about that. Gerard, your contacts are good. And do you do the import from the phone feature? If it won't bring in duplicates, like, do you think, like, if there was a duplicate in there that had just the email address even? Okay.
No, I mean, they're all.
Well, Joel's, of course, would be the specialist there. So if you want to book with us, we'll try to figure that out. But even if it's in your archive, any chance it's in archive, the phone number?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, we can like sort through it as well together. All right, but the idea is getting your fully complete contacts in command. I do want to show you how to, so of course we'll work with you on importing contacts, and I think you guys are okay on that for now. But another big thing is tagging your contacts, right? It's huge for your marketing. So if you want to, for example, do cards for a holiday, or if you want to do a pop-by gift at a holiday, or you want to call a certain amount of your contacts, right? Any of those contacts that would take time or money, right? They should be your VIP list, right? So maybe like your top 10 to 20% is typically that number, right? So that you feel like you can kind of extra dote on. All right, so it's up to you as far as what tags you utilize. Buyer and seller tags are, of course, really important, so that you can market to contacts that are ready to buy now or ready to sell. And there are certain like smart plans in there that are for just buyers and for just sellers, of course, as well. So to start tagging your contacts, I'm going to show you the how, and we'll talk more about that strategy. Right, all you have to do to tag your contacts is simply clicking on the check boxes to the left of the contact's name. Once you click the check boxes, you'll then have this bulk action menu. Okay, so just so you know, that menu is not there at all if you don't have any check boxes selected. So that trips me up sometimes. So if you check the check boxes, then the select bulk action will come up. And if you click on that, it will give you the option to add tags. Right, so it essentially just gives you options to bulk apply different actions in here that you can look through. Right, adding tags is one of them. So let's say I want to tag these as my VIPs or family or friends, sellers, buyers, right? Those are big ones. So what I would do is I could go ahead and type in what that tag is. If I have that already set up, I can select it, or I can create the tag. And clicking to create the tag will allow me to pick the color I want for it as well. And I can click add selected, and it'll go ahead and tag those contacts accordingly. And usually I have to refresh the page, just a heads up for it to see those apply, just so you guys know. And that's how you can tag your contacts. And again, it's really important to tag your contacts for your marketing efforts, right? So if you met all of your contacts at a previous job, right, that might be another great way to tag them. Now, I mean, if you have another Excel spreadsheet that you get, just so you know, Scott Lowry Marketing can always import spreadsheets of contacts. So if you ever need them to do that, they absolutely can. Yes. So yeah, when they import your contacts in, when you import it from your phone, it'll import in without tags. So you can tag them in here. The other option is you can export them to an Excel spreadsheet and tag them on the Excel spreadsheet. So they import in with tags. But you know, yeah. Yep, you can create it. Yeah, so your command system comes with some default tags, but you can create any tags you want that makes sense to your business. Yes, definitely, right? Because you're going to market differently to them. And then also, you know, when you have previous clients, right? So that you can follow up with testimonial requests, and you know, it's a different kind of follow up in that sense. So yeah, typically the lead source is a good, or you know, just wherever you got that contact will be a good indicator of that tag. You know, so I mentioned you can run Facebook ads in here, right? And then so when it comes in, it'll be tagged Facebook ad, and we'll talk more about that, but just as an example. All right, so as far as your contacts, right, getting your contacts in will be the #1 thing to work on. I do want to point out one of the biggest things too is adding in their physical address. So if you do have your contacts in here, right, I'm sure you guys have heard the 201 contacts, fully complete contacts will give you a $120,000 database. So they want you to have their email address, their phone number, their physical address. That's what I'm going to talk about now. And then bonus points for their anniversary and their birthday. The reason that having their address in here is so important is that if you have their physical address, which you can look up in Realist, right, it knows what neighborhood that is in. So, for example, Realist. So that's in like in the canopy. Yep, on the top menu, right? So you can look up where they live and put that in here. So let's see if I can just find one to show you. All right, so essentially you can put in their address and it will know what neighborhood that they live in, and it will put that neighborhood right under it here.
That has changed. So when you click on scroll.
And
So
this has changed, Gerard. You ain't kidding.
Okay, so I don't like that, but it is what it is. How do you go like another neighborhood that's attached to it?
So now how they have it set up, so if you give them 2 different neighborhoods that they're a part of, they have to access the neighborhood separately from their email. So right, they get an email either. How do you do it? What, go to a different neighborhood? Like,
okay, for example, if you go back and you see the other neighborhood below.
Yeah, you can't.
You add it. Let's say you want to add it.
Right.
How do you?
I haven't seen a way either. That drove Jules and I nuts when they made that change. You're not the only one. Because right, they used to have them all at the top. We were like, great, I can just click there. Yeah, they made that change. Like now they have Like they have nearby neighborhoods. I'm not sure, Gerard. I have that same question. That's the main thing I've seen that's missing in the main workaround is that it's in the email it sends. So I'll tell you guys what he's talking about. Like it has nearby neighborhoods, but these aren't the neighborhoods you pick, you know? So what he's saying, so you can add more than one neighborhood, right? So you'll see once you add one, it gives you the option A, you can keep searching for the neighborhood, find it on a map, or it'll give you some close by ones. So you could add, let's say they're looking for, so in the case that it's a buyer, so far I've told you about like if you put in their address, right, and they're a potential seller, they would start to see like a mini CMA for their neighborhood. Okay, but the other time you can use this is let's say that you have more of a long-term buyer and they're telling you, okay, I'm not ready to buy yet, but when I do really like, you know, Hunter Oaks and Somerset, and name a few neighborhoods. If you set them up on this neighborhood nurture, right, they'll get those listings twice a month of all the homes that are for sale in there, and it puts them in the front seat. So like if someone tells you, hey, I'm not ready to buy right now, and you start sending them a save search of things, they feel, I mean, you know, sold. You're trying to sell them, right? Well, I told you I wasn't ready to buy, right? As opposed to this gives them a search where you can't put in the criteria. So you can't say 4 beds, 3 bath. You can only specify what neighborhood. Then they get all the most recent listings in that neighborhood and all the neighborhood information, and it puts them in the front seat. And all of a sudden the idea is, okay, they see this beautiful home in the neighborhood they want to live in. Well, it's not going to be live in a year when they go to buy. So now they're picking up the phone to call you to go see that home. So that's the idea for long-term buyers. But to answer your question,
Changed.
KWRI, they do all the changes.
You guys call them up. and stuff.
Oh, we are so powerful that, yeah, we put our foot down. We're like, Gary,
Well, did
damn it,
somebody
Gary.
explain it?
Well, the regional tech, we have like regional tech meetings on Mondays. And she did point out, like we have a regional tech trainer who pointed out that it did change. And then we found that the way you can see the other neighborhoods is going back to the email. Because what happens is that we'll start sending them an email twice a month. You can pick bi-weekly or once a month of all the neighborhoods that you put in there. So if you put in a neighborhood, you know, that's not close to each other, they would have to keep going back. They would have to go back to the email. Yeah, I'm with you. What he doesn't like about it. Before I used to, like if you added multiple neighborhoods on the back end like this. No, if it's like a buyer who's interested in a couple different neighborhoods more. Yeah, so, or,
Up there in the black thing that says command, connect, command.
yes,
Okay. On this particular thing, when you go to look at the preview. Then have the neighborhood selected. You can click on those particular neighborhoods and show you the homes. And it's all on the same page, it was very user friendly.
and I'll tell you this, Cynthia, in just 1 second as well. I'll tell the whole class because that's a good question. Yeah, so if you had like another neighborhood in here, like they were looking in Weddington Hills, but they also were looking in like Cornelius areas, before it would show all the different neighborhoods that you indicated they liked at the top so they could switch back and forth right from the top. Now they have to go back to the email you sent them to switch to the new neighborhood. Yeah, well, no, they'll see it automatically. This is just a shift for how, like, yeah, the more the back end. Exactly. Let me see if I have one of those emails here. I think I do. I can try to show you one of those emails. So what it'll do is they'll send them, right, an email bi-monthly, and I'll show you what that looks like. I don't think this is it. That's a safe search. Yeah, they can just see both of them right from the email, both neighborhoods, and switch back and forth here. Let me show you. It'll be easier for me to explain once I find one. Sorry, guys, 1 sec. Have you sent yourself one, Gerard? I'm trying to remember what the subject line is. Neighborhood, maybe? I'm gonna, one last try. Monthly neighborhood. Sorry, I'll remember after our class and I'll look again. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look more in that. But essentially, yeah, it does put both neighborhoods in the email as opposed to the neighborhoods at the top here. Yeah, yes, you're exactly right. So then it would pull it up in a different tab. That's like a really great point. So like from the email, that would just pull it up like as a separate tab, so they could switch back and forth between the tabs at the top. Great point. Thank you. All right, and I did, so the idea of that is, right, adding either the address in will automatically add these neighborhoods, or if they are looking to buy even long term, you can add what neighborhoods they're interested in for them to start getting that search, right? That's the idea there. So outside of that, right, and you can make any changes here to the contact record by clicking the pencil icon on the very top, right, to add in like the anniversary date. When you're in Real List, I don't care if you sold them the house or not, if you're looking up their property address, put their anniversary as well. It'll remind you to call them on their anniversary. Okay, that's a big one. Yeah, so the difference in, right, this feature that I just showed you, that neighborhood nurture, is more for like long-term buyers or sellers, right? Now, if you have a buyer who's ready to buy right now, now do you set up your clients, do you use the MLS for safe searches? Most agents that I hear use the MLS for safe searches. There is a safe search feature in here, which it's being covered right now. However, so that allows you to set up essentially the same thing, the safe search that you could do in the MLS. However, the safe search would just show up on the mobile app, like the KW mobile app, which I'll show you next. But my recommendation would be, starting out, use the MLS for safe searches. Yeah, it goes to their email. You can set it up as either immediate or, you know, daily.
Once a month, yeah, send it up daily, like she said. I do it, if they're looking right now, I do it 3 times a week. I do it on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Some senior agents said, don't do it for Saturday, Sunday, because by the time Friday comes around, everything's already loaded in for the weekend. So
That's a good recommendation.
That's in Wayne and Raleigh.
Good to know. Yeah. Yeah, it has the capability, but you know, the only, or the main time I would use this safe search, I know we talked about this a little, but this can search the entire country of listings, right? So versus the MLS, of course, local. So if you do have a contact who's, you know, in California or anywhere else, technically you could still use the neighborhood nurture. If you put in their address, it'll know what neighborhood they're in Raleigh or in Michigan, right? So the safe search there will apply even if they're out of state. So that might be the extra usage that I would recommend. All right, so I did get a question online on how to delete contacts, and you're right, Cynthia. So you can archive the contacts, but then deleting the contacts are going to be in the back end. So I'll show you that real quick here, just so you guys know. Oh, you're fine. Welcome in anytime. So I'm going to click back to contacts on the top left. Okay, so in the case that you do want to delete contacts, because it won't let you re-add a contact unless it's totally deleted, and you're only able to archive it from your database, and then you have to like go into the back end to delete it. So that's really just something to kind of know. If you want to archive a contact, you can click the 3 dots on the far right of the contact name, and you can archive it. Of course, you can do that in bulk as well. Almost anything in the 3 dots you can do in bulk as well. So if you wanted to, you know, click the check boxes here, you can also archive them from up here. Now, once you archive them, just that final step on how to officially delete them. So that would be in your settings. You can just watch if you want to. I can always remind you when you need this. But if you click your name on the top right and then settings again. The name on the top right and then settings. On the left-hand side, we'll click on command settings. And that's where your contact settings are. So we'll click on contacts, and I'll say that again to make sure you have this down. And then under contacts, right, we have the contact archive. So again, to say those steps again, and of course you can like delete from here. To say those steps again, I clicked on the my name on the top right. Settings from that drop down. Then command settings on the left-hand side. to access the contacts and the contact archive. And then this is where I could go in, I could either restore that or delete it officially so that I could actually re-add the contact. Yeah, and you can wipe them all at once too. So if you do like, you know, want to do a database wipe, you know, you don't have to do it one at a time or anything. Yeah, of course. Right, yeah. And that's good because it's always there, but sometimes you just need to get rid of them. All right, guys. So the next thing I want to show you guys, because we have about 10 minutes here, is I want to show you guys your client-facing items. So like your live website, your mobile app. There's just one thing last thing I want to touch on before we switch over to that. And that's just smart plans, more explaining what smart plans are, because we have separate classes on this and a separate tip video. It's just like a whole topic in itself. Okay, but smart plans, if you're going to use anything in Command, this is it. You should use smart plans. Okay, so what is a smart plan to start with? So smart plans are essentially setting up your systems in KW Command to automate everything. So it'll do things like send automated emails for you. It'll remind you quarterly to call your contacts. It can send automated text messages. It'll remind you to call them on their anniversary or birthday, right? This is where the automation, where your systems come from here. And it's also where you can automate those touches for emails, like an email campaign. All right, so what you need to know about smart plans is, of course, your contacts need to be in your database first, and working on tagging them is very helpful, okay? And then once you do that, getting your contacts on a smart plan will be that next big step. So if you are looking to, you know, have an anniversary reminder, right, or birthday, or if you're looking to have that neighborhood nurture, right? So just to show you real quick, and again, this will be just kind of like a surface level overview of smart plans. Right, if I wanted them to start getting that neighborhood nurture, let's say, I would have to set that smart plan up. So how that looks, so right, we added the neighborhood to that contact record. So now I can add that smart plan in, and it might already be here. It probably is for most of you. I think Scott Laurie adds it anyway, but you can scroll down and see the neighborhood nurture. That's what I'm looking for. So you'll see two options at the top for my smart plans and then library. Any of the ones in my smart plans are in your account, but aren't active unless they have a contact number under it, okay? So all the ones with dashes are not active in my account unless I have those contacts on it. All right, so I can add more smart plans to my library, or to my smart plans rather, from the library. Okay, and really the cool thing to know about this in the library is, first of all, KW provides you smart plans, right? So I'm in the library section under smart plans, right? And if I scroll down slightly, I will see these Keller Williams provided smart plans. And you probably already have these in your account, but I would really recommend having that bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. So, right, if you added the neighborhood in there and I said, okay, it'll send them a series of emails with that information. That is true, as long as you have the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture set up. So that's that next step. Let's make sure that's set up. And of course, I can help you anytime in a one-on-one. So for that bi-weekly neighborhood nurture, let's say I want to go ahead and bring that in. If you click add smart plan, it's already in your account. It just won't give you the option to download it like this. So that's how you can tell that you already have it. All right, so these smart plans are great. You can kind of look through them, you know, what they have option, these KW ones. As far as previewing the smart plans here, really as much as you get is you get to see the amount of stars on there, which is helpful in the description. But if you click view steps, it'll kind of tell you what's in the smart plan, but you can see it's pretty vague, right? But like, for example, like the 8x8 new contact engagement, this one has a text step where it can automatically text your contacts or remind you to text your contacts. And you can kind of preview the template that it'll give you from here. So as far as previewing which smart plans you want to bring in, again, I know it's a little vague. It's as much as clicking view steps and then hovering to kind of see what that is. But if you click add smart plan, you can see, you know, everything in the smart plan, and it doesn't activate it unless it's added contacts. Yeah, exactly. So it'll ask you that when you add the contacts, and I'll show you that actually as well. So one more thing to note in here, though, is in the library, right? Other agents can also add smart plans in here. So we looked at the KW provided smart plan, but you'll see at the top, right? I don't know if you guys know who Marty Miller is, but right, that's the big tech agent in Texas, I want to say, that does a 66-day challenge, right? So there are other agents that can share their smart plan so you can use it too. So if there's a certain smart plan, like If you want to build your downline, right? You can type in like recruits up here. Just look for smart plans that would automatically email people that you're trying to bring to KW as an example. Now, again, I know this is a very brief overview of the library of smart plans. My recommendation would be to come in here and kind of play with the search, see what you can click on and what you have access to. But now when it's ready to start, so to answer your question on how you pick when they go, like when they receive these emails. So I'm going to switch back over to smart plans, my smart plans. And again, I have a video on how to do this to walk you actually through it. Right. But so I can add contacts right to it from here, or I can edit it, view it fully. So let's say like my neighborhood nurture, there's nothing to edit because it sends out that email automatically. But certain ones you can edit, like on the right hand side. If you click on that, it'll show you any automated like text messages that are sending out, like the birthday one, for example, has an automated text message step, or it can remind you, right? And so you can edit that here, right? So this is just an example of like the editing backend that you can edit. Again, I'm not expecting you to remember how to edit it, right? But what I do want to show you is how you can add the contacts to that neighborhood nurture, okay? So that's what I'm mainly going to show you for this last part of smart plans is, right, we added the neighborhood to the contact record. All right, that's great, but they won't get those emails until this last step of adding them to the neighborhood nurture, right? So at that point, what I can do is I can add all of these contacts to that neighborhood nurture, right? So first you can select all. It defaults on 10 contacts showing on this page. So if you do want to change how many it shows, you can change it to show 1 out of 500 and even save that. So if that is your case on your contacts, if it only shows 10, I would really recommend changing that to show 500 at a time. So again, you do that by clicking show 1 through 10 on the right hand side and change that to 500 contacts. And then you can save it so that it always defaults to that. Did you do that?
No, I'm just doing my Twilio.
On your Twilio? Okay, but I will talk about Twilio because that'll be my next thing I go to at a brief one. Okay, so how to add people to that smart plan. So it'll only add people that have neighborhoods. That is a criteria of that smart plan. They have to have like a neighborhood in there or like the physical address and an email address. So if I go ahead and select all of my contacts, right, and click select bulk action, I can add them to a smart plan, okay? And that's what we've been working in, right? Those are those systems. And that's when I would be able to go ahead and add them to the neighborhood nurture. So I can select that. And when I do select whichever one I want them to be on, right, it's going to tell me which ones don't have neighborhoods. So 498 of my contacts do not have neighborhoods, so the plan won't work for them. So I'm going to click remove contacts with errors, or if you want to add them to the plan anyway, you can, and then go back and add the neighborhoods later. It's always an option. So when I click that, then it gives me the option of when to start the smart plan. So that's when I can give either start now or I can start on a future date.
So the my birthday one, does it automatically send them a birthday message?
Oh, no, only if you have Twilio. Do you have Twilio? Then yes, it should. Did it? You would know from your timeline. And we can troubleshoot that too. So his question is, so I keep mentioning that you can also automatically text your contacts from these smart plans. So some of these smart plans have a text step, meaning it would automatically text your database as a part of it. Now, for that to happen, you would have to have a Twilio account. Twilio is not a free account, but it's pretty nominal, the cost, right? It's like $3.16 for like 300 credits.
I think I paid $3 a month, but I can get it down to like.
Nice. Wow. Yeah. The return on investment on that has really high potential.
It just rolls over every
That's
month.
great. So if you don't use it,
Yeah.
that's great. Right, because text messages have about a 98% open rate. So now what to know about it is it doesn't send from your personal phone number, right? You have a Twilio phone number. However, in this day and age, so that's kind of the con behind it. But this, not the con, like, you know, pros and cons, but anyway, you know, people with that being used to like Uber Eats and like Shipt, they're used to those numbers, right? So typically people just putting their name at the bottom of it, right? That clarifies it. But that is kind of the one con to know is it's not your number.
The other day I emailed my regular email address and my actual cell phone.
Of the text. That's a good idea. Right, because really every time you send it, and it does give them the option to stop, like if they reply stop, it unsubscribes them. The system takes care of all of that. You don't have to remember that. My vote is, yeah, do it. Get a Twilio account. Twilio, and that'll be set up for you. And to an extent, but we can help you once you get your account, like get the paid version. It just allows, like for me, you could call me all day and I will never, ever, ever pick up my phone, right, from a random number. I don't really check my personal email.
And I can attest to that.
Get the hint, Gerard. I'm just kidding. Right. And I think, you know, it's about a generational thing too, right? Millennials are just big on text, right? I will always see the text, even if I don't reply to the text, right? We kind of know, and I keep that in mind. So if you do the text, about 6 to 8 touches is the strategy behind branding yourself as a credible agent, okay? So for example, an agent in our office named Serge, he uses Twilio, and he showed me his timelines were all consistently, he would email and text 6 times. They would not respond. 7th time, they would say, hey, I would like a condo with 6 beds, 7 baths, right? Huh. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was like the 6th or 7th time between 6 and 8. Right, exactly. So being consistent. So, and they were different channels too, which is important to analyze. So they were like he was touching them probably twice a month, right? One via text, one via email. But you're right, like that's where, like if it's someone who's buying soon, right? You want to get, that's like the 8x8. So that's the 8x8. That's the reason behind it, right? That's 8 in 8 weeks because you're trying to brand that real quickly, right? Get that trust. If it's more of a long-term client or long-term lead you're trying to cultivate, maybe they're not going to buy for the next 4 years. Having them still in your database so you can touch them with an email a month and a text a month still does that same thing when they're ready to buy, right? But yeah, it really does matter, like your database and what they prefer. Like if you have a large amount of boomers in your database, you know, some of them might be even offended by text, right? They prefer a call, you know, so it's definitely worth doing it, you know, testing it out with your database. And if you find that they really don't reply with text or they do one way or the other, great, you can tag them accordingly so that you start to reach out to them in the most effective way that's effective for them, right? All right, so last thing I want to show you guys before I let you go is your consumer facing tools. And just to show you guys, if you do want to go through more of the smart plan and how to do that, right, that is on the notes here. So just so you know, if you want to go through this, the notes, and I'll show you again how to get here. Smart plans overview, right? This will give you the how-to to create an email signature, set up a Facebook business account, smart plans, contacts. So this will be kind of your next steps if you want to learn more after today's class on anything I said. But I do want to make you aware of what you have access to provide your clients of value with your technology. Okay, and that'll be the last thing we do. So kind of switching gears here, if you can click on the consumer icon on the very top bottom of the command menu, the left-hand side here, it's the very bottom option. It's a consumer icon, and that means like your clients, consumers. So these are all your tools that are for your clients, and you can see your website address first there up at the top. So consumer, this website address right here, right? You can click on to see your live site. It'll always be something like your first and last name .kw.com. Excuse me. You can get a domain name. I do really recommend it. This is kind of next level, absolutely not required, right? But just in case you're feeling crazy, okay, what a domain name is, right? If you go to GoDaddy.com and you type in, you know, bassproperties.com, see if it's available. Usually it's like $12 for the whole year. Why it's so great is A, branding, right? B, there's a lot of dots for them to remember on a sign, like, okay, my first and last name .kw.com, right? They're driving by fast. You need to give them something simple. But third and most important, if you ever get a different website, right? You create a brand new website, or you do something crazy like go to a different brokerage, right? That domain name will always go with you. So if you have that domain name, it's just essentially buying what the website address is, right? bassproperties.com, smithhomes.com. And then we can forward it to this website here. So if anyone types in, smithhomes.com, this is where they go to. And if you ever get a different website, well, we just change where that domain name points and all your marketing material is still stands true. Does that make sense? Okay, I would really recommend that. I mean, it's like $12, so it's a pretty good investment per year. But once you buy that domain name, email Scott Roy Marketing, right? And just say, hey, I bought a domain name from GoDaddy. Can you forward it to my KW site? They will need your GoDaddy login and command login, or just what the website address is, and they can do it for you. He builds the website as well. Yep. Scott. Yeah, so when you do buy the GoDaddy domain name, and you can buy domain names at different places, but GoDaddy is, yeah. And they will try to sell you on a website, right? When you're checking out, I usually say no to any of the extras they recommend. Of course, that's your call, but especially website, say no, because it'll just instead go to this website instead. Exactly. You're exactly right. So that's a big one. And so if they do go to that QR code, let's say, I skipped a topic there. So you can also create a QR code, like Scott Roy Marketing can create a QR code for you for anything. But this brings me to your command app, is you do have a digital business card. Now I'm going to kind of use both things at the same time here. While we're working on the website, if you can pull open your phone and make sure that you have both KW apps. So right, there's a command app and a white KW app, right? So there's a white KW app and a red KW app. If you don't have both, just go into your app store and search KW. And there's one that's KW Command for you as the agent. And then there's one that is KW Mobile Search app that'll be for your clients. And I'll tell you about both. I'm just going to log in so I can show you the digital business card you guys get. So on the command app, so that is the red one. Do you have the command app? Or you won't be able to get into it, but it'd be good to still download it. You can't, not you, he's not in the system, but you can get into the other mobile search app. So if you don't have, two, but usually it's just like a workshop after, so you're free to go. Oh yeah, definitely.
Is that in the call?
Good question. I don't know where Keldia is, but whoever's at the front desk usually knows. But yeah, somewhere. Sorry. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, the new mobile, sorry, what am I trying to say? Business card, digital business card. Have you guys seen it? New digital business card in Command app. Yes, that one. Yeah. So that pulls from the marketing profile. And if you screenshot that, you can crop it or whatever, and you can put that on anything, and that will always allow them to download your app, or download your contact record rather. So from the command app, yep. And then, so this is a brand new feature. So now if you click on your name on the top, see that My Business Card. Yeah. So if someone scans that, right? So I just scanned it, and now here's all your contact information right here. And I can just go ahead and click like at, either create or add, so they don't have to type it in, right? I don't know. Weeks, that's so new. Like, wait, maybe it was like February, I don't even know. But I don't know if you've seen, like, have you scanned it before? Because when you scan it, here, I'll show you what yours looks like when you scan it. So what's cool about it, right? Obviously, it has your contact information. This all pulls from the app. So yeah, or from marketing profile. That's why it has like the Keller Williams ones in there. Yeah, so you can just go take those out if you want. But what's cool about it is I scroll down and click to just add to, I just add it to my phone from there as opposed to having to type in all of that. Yeah. One more cool thing that in the top of command, how you clicked on your name on the top there to get to that digital business card. Another cool thing they put there is the share the KW app link up there. Yeah. Cool. Okay. And that shares your branded mobile search app, right? So that if you share it that way, they get the link, and when they download the mobile search, then it brands it right to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The only thing annoying about it is make sure they create an account.
They have to.
then you won't know. But once they like sign in with an account, it'll tell you like what house they look at. Like you'll know what house they look at, and you can just like give them a call and be like, hey,
So have you liked it? Have you been using it with your clients?
yeah.
Cool. And two, like, so if you know how there's that save search option in the actual contact record, I briefly talked about it, but the save search, so if it is someone that's signed on your app, right, and you'll know if they're on your app because it has a check mark next to their name. I don't have an example, but like it would essentially just have one little check mark right here. And that shows you that they're logged into your app. So if you create a save search here, just so you know, this save search would make your search that you create for them show up in the app in the feed section. So there's on the mobile search, there's like a feed option on there, like on your phone, and it would show those properties that you create for them here. Just so you know, if you ever wanted to share them properties straight on their app. That makes sense. No, let's go through it again. So like if they are signed on your app, right? And you come in here and click that save search option up here. And let's say you put in a save search of like, Weddington with 2 beds, 2 baths kind of deal, right? If you do that, what it's going to do, it'll send them emails, kind of like we were talking about for the MLS, but it will also show them on the mobile app. Let me show you where it is. Both on your website. So you see this feed section on your website? Your app has it too. And that's where it would show up for them. So this is where it would show up any homes that, like, if they create a save search, they could see it here. Or if you create one for them, then they would see it here as well. And like just where that is on the app itself. Yeah, that's the one for you as the agent.
Oh,
but like,
on this one.
yeah, the other one, sorry, that's why it's also
So how does
confusing.
it get to that there?
So this is on my website. So the website and the mobile app link together too, right? Like their accounts are the same. They can use either the website or the app and save properties. And so this is, if you pull up, do you have the app up? That's the mobile search app. Thank you. White one. Yeah, it's the white app, KW app. Yeah, not that one, the other one.
Oh, you mean, okay. This
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, and then see this feed option right here? So this is the feed. If they click on that, that's essentially what's on my screen up here too. But this is where they could see, if you create a save search in there, right, in that command contact record, that's where they would see it. So if you go in here and create this save search, yes, it will email them, right? You can set it up to email them, but it will also show them on your website, on the feed, and on the mobile app, right? They see their collections as well as the collection you made for them. Does that make sense? More sense? Great. Yes, you're totally right, though, is that when you share that app, right, they have to create an account on your app to even really go forward or for you to get the lead. Now, as far as your website goes, big thing to know. So if you are on your live facing site, if you need help getting here, let me know. But essentially click on the menu on the top right and make sure Scott Lorry Marketing can add up to 8 pages on your site. Probably done for you, Gerard. Oh, is there like a local school search? If you click on the arrow.
Well, yeah. This one?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you have. Yeah, you have them. On your website, if you would like a local school search and like mortgage calculator and stuff, right? Scott Lorry Marketing can do it for you. So if you email support@scottlorrymarketing.com with your command login, just say, hey, I would like the custom pages on my website. They'll be like, oh, do you mean these pages? And it'll be a list of things like a mortgage calculator, leave a testimonial. And then you just have to apply yes, and then they'll do it for free. So that's awesome. I would recommend emailing it to them because you have to go into each separate page to edit it, and it's fickle. Email, so, oh, okay, never mind. So yeah, in that case, you're good. Gerard, you can also email Scott Lorry Marketing and ask them to put featured listings on your website though too. So if you do want, because like on the home page of the website right here, it can have featured listings. As you can see, I have one here, right? But scholarly marketing can go in and add those featured listings for you. The bummer part about them is they don't automatically pull. So like if you go through, let's say the listings KWB has, can't you see that in the MLS? Like, and let's say you find, you can do up to 12, but let's say you find 5 that are beautiful listings that you want featured. If you just send them an email with those 5 MLS numbers, it'll be on your site. My understanding is because typically, right, to market someone else's listing, you do have to have that co-broker form signed because you're saying that you'll keep up with the listing status. Now with this, you're right, it has to be KWB listings, but it keeps up with the listing status for you. So I don't think you have to get that form signed, but here we are. I have never, let's put it this way. I'm not sure what Sabre would say on that exactly, but I know pretty confidently that 99% of agents do not get any form signed to do that.
Because it's KW or because it's?
Because it keeps up with the status for you. Technically, it does need to be KW listings. I know agents also don't abide by that and nothing happens. So I don't know that's the end of the world, but as long as you kind of abide by that, like it's KWB listings and then have scholarly marketing add them. Only thing to know is then, okay, in a year, once it goes sold, it tends to disappear from your website. Like I had 5 different ones before, and then once they sell, this one I think is just broken. But anyway, so kind of just something to keep in mind, like then in 6 months later, if you look at your site and there's no featured listings, well, that's why. Once they sell, it disappears from your site. Hey, I'm really done. You can come in. We're talking about fun stuff. You know what Gerard doesn't like? That they took the neighborhoods away from the top of the neighborhood page. I know, yeah. I told you we didn't like it, right? Because now the best way to see the different neighborhoods going back to the email, right?
Yeah, still send them like based on how many neighborhoods.
They've got to go back in each time.
To the email that you sent them. And then if they click on all of them, it'll be like 3 separate tabs up top though, like on your browser. So that might be the best. That's what Mike suggested, and I thought that was a good one. Really, there's not much more I need to go over with you guys. I mean, I can answer questions between the differences between the apps, which I very much know is confusing, but I feel like you kind of have it, George. How do you feel about the apps? Okay. Is there anything I can show you guys in general that you have questions on?
No, I usually remember after.
Feel that to my core. You know how I say the thing like how you should try texting them because like you can call me all day and I'll never answer the phone. So I was like, yeah, I can attest for that.
No, guys, but you'll answer my email and or my.
Really fast because we're
we're
in all meetings all day, so that's why the phone. It's like, well, I can't answer. I'm in a meeting, so I don't even know.
Really call is when I need to like. But when I text you guys are really good at that.
We're responsive, right?
Yeah, no, you want me.
Just phones, you know. Can you believe at our last job they put us on phone? We had to answer KW agents calling mad about command for just like 8 hours a day. We're like shaking, like no. They didn't call to tell us good news. Yeah, feel free. And of course, so you guys can book appointments with us anytime. I know you know that, Gerard, but you too, Caleb. Like if you go to KWB resources, like I know I know we help the team and all, but we can just kind of get your stuff in order too, and you know, make you a game plan and anything else that we can help with. So you know, free anytime, and you know how to make an appointment, right? Cool. I know you do. I think we're done. Oh, it's here. Please do. Because then we'd be so excited to see your face.
I usually do it on private, so.
Excellent. Right. Let's see. All right, Cynthia, I am logging up. Of course. And Cynthia, if you need anything, of course, you know where to find us.
Thank you. And have a good day.
Sorry, Cynthia, if you're talking to me, I can't hear it.
Oh, it's okay. I was just saying, have a good day.
Oh, thank you. I hope you have a good day too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.